Hey everybody, I am joined by the wonderful Ali Spagnola.
Hi, how's it going?
Tell my audience a little bit about what you do on your channel and your different platforms.
Sure. So I do a lot of music and comedy stuff. If you're checking me out on Instagram, it's a lot of fitness. I've been streaming my workouts lately, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, look at that. So yeah, go check her out. She talks about all sorts of different things. Like I said, each platform's a little different. I think that's kind of cool that you do that.
Yeah.
So
I'm
her
like a different person wherever you're looking.
Yeah, exactly. But her YouTube channel, and obviously I'll link everything in the description, but her YouTube channel is focused on like music and stuff like that. And I've been to Ali's shows and they're really cool. But today we're going to talk about kind of like balance and how Ali balances all of that she does. And because I know that we talk about eating disorders a lot and struggling to keep a balance between, healthy lifestyle, like healthy mind, healthy body, we talk about all the time. I wanted to dig into that a little bit with you because if you check out Ali's Instagram, it's all about like being fit-faced and
balance.
The joke of it is, and like the term fit-faced is because like being shit-faced, like getting drunk and having a good time and going out. And then how do we balance that with working out? And I know that being online and being, using a platform to share your workouts and what you're doing, has that been hard to keep keep a cap on or keep it under control?
Yeah, there's certainly like a lot of pressure, especially when there's like internet eyes on you. But I think it's the same that everyone deals with. We're all under pressure. We all feel like we're being watched. We're all self-judging.
Yeah, and because I know that sometimes we can get to like calculating and counting, I've talked a lot about that with my audience, like we can feel pulled to do that to make sure we're working out enough, or if we're trying to keep a balance from going out and exercising. Has that been a difficult thing for you, like recently or throughout your life at all, or?
Actually, it's been a more recent thing for me that I started calculating more so. I used to just sort of calculate my calories. I struggled with trying to eat as little calories as possible when I was younger, and I've thankfully, recovered from that, and I'm feeling much more healthy about it.
Has that been something that's always been a part of your life, even taking away like exercise and food stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so type A. I mean, I make lists in my sleep. Not just food.
I can attest to that.
Work. It's even play. I have lists of like all the hikes that I want to do.
So it's like list after list after list. Yeah. And I think that is a common like comorbidity, we'd call it in like the mental health world, meaning that like things run together. So like OCD and eating disorder behavior can like, they're kindred spirits. They hang out a lot together, and one can like ease into the other. So as a kid, like when you're younger, no tracking of food, was it more list based or?
Yeah, I think that I was just like driven, a very regimented kid, but no, the list things I guess started more like during college.
Was there anything that you feel prompted it, or what were the first little signs of it?
I guess I had always like sort of had body image issues being a woman in America.
Yeah.
I grew up being a dancer, so I was always in a leotard, being compared to other girls my age. And I actually want to say that it started even then, right? Maybe I wasn't making lists when I was that young, but certainly, I was getting in my head and judging myself in the mirror. And so I guess it was just sort of college that I started being more goal-oriented, and so it came out on paper and whatever.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I think a lot of us that can start at a young age without even knowing, because we don't really take stock when we're that little. But it could be like needing to be the best. Like I remember specifically knowing that, like looking back now, knowing that my type A-ness started when I was in band and I wanted to be first chair. Like, what?
That's a big deal.
That doesn't make me cool, or does it?
Kind of does.
The clarinet has come in super handy, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's like, looking back, we can always tell. If you think back to like college, was it the list that was the first thing you noticed, or was it just thoughts?
Yeah, I guess it was just sort of like trying to change my body, and then that came out in the control being writing it down.
And then as far as getting over it, because a lot of my viewers struggle with stuff like that and wanting to count and calculate and all of that. Mm-hmm. What are some steps, if there are any, that that you took to move past that?
Yeah, I mean, I realized that it wasn't working for me, just calculating my calories and trying to eat as little as possible. I felt so much better when I sort of broke out of that. I guess the the tip I can give to get away from that, and what helped me was like self-experimentation, right? If something's not working and you feel broken, try something else. And you don't have to stick to that, right? If that doesn't work either, try something else and figure out what works for you. But like experiment, because it's freeing.
Yeah, and I think like even personally, because I definitely am more of the like anxiety, OCD type of a person, and I love my lists. You guys all know that. I think like when I decided, I remember I was talking to Allie about this before we started filming. Back before Sean and I got married, I pulled a muscle in my shoulder, and I used to rely so much on like yoga to manage my mental health, and it was like most of my self-care at that point in time, which is not good. You should have like a bunch of different things going on, but I was relying on that, and then my doctor and my physical therapist were like, "You can't do that anymore. Like for a month, I need you to do nothing." And I was like, shit, what do I do?
Right.
And at first it felt really terrible and scary, and I hated it. But then, like, I want to say it was like by week 3, everybody's gonna be different, but for me, it was around week 2 or 3, I started to like embrace it and be like, this is awesome. I can do other things. I started coloring again. I spent more time catching up with friends, going out to dinner. Like I went on walks, started listening to podcasts, which you all know I still do as like part of my self-care. And so it like forced me to like branch out and to have more things that I can rely on. Have you ever tried doing other things when that urge comes up? Like,
well, now I want to, right? I mean, I do get that feeling of like those first 3 weeks that you had where I'm like, no, I like these lists and I rely on them, and it's actually empowering to know, you know, when I worked out or if I sang today or, you know, all of the things that I keep track of. And it, like I said, it seems empowering, and that if I didn't have that, it would be negative. But hey, maybe I should just get over that hump and see what it's like to, you know, skip a day of piano and see what happens.
yeah, because it is like, it's an experiment. It's like a personal experiment.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you use music in the same way? Like, is it part of, like, have to do it a certain amount?
Yeah, actually. I mean, I make it a point to do this, you know, this amount of vocal warm-ups every day and try and, like, work on music. It's like, I'm big on creating habits, and I want to sort of turn it into a habit so I don't have to think about it. And so it's not like forcing myself to sing every day. It's just what I do. But maybe it's okay to not do it once in a while and go color instead.
I mean, it's not like I'm always against like black and white, like all or nothing. Like that's why that like I have to do. It's good to still work on stuff and practice. And like Sean's learning guitar and he's doing like 30 minutes a day ish. And there's some days when you can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, if we're traveling or if you just have a really busy day and you're burnt, like it's better to take care of yourself. But yeah, it's all about balance.
Yeah, and I think that's where my problem lies, is if I have a busy day and I don't get to it, I like beat myself up about it. So I should probably be that part of self-care, to be like, it's okay, you know, today was rough, like don't worry about it, you didn't get all the boxes checked.
Yeah, I know, and that's it takes time though. Like even for me, if I get really stressed, I have a lot of I'll feel the need to like check all the boxes and like, oh, I didn't get that video edited, and I'm so terrible. But it's like then it goes into negative self-talk where you're like, I'm a loser, I can't do anything, and then we feel worse.
Right.
And also something that we've kind of talked about a little bit is like the balance component, but the fact that your body actually does need rest. Like for instance, yesterday I filmed. I did a live stream for 2 hours, and then I had to film a podcast with a friend. And at the end of the day, I was totally burnt.
Right.
And I legitimately couldn't do anymore. I mean, I could try to push myself, but so there are limits, and my brain needed to like for a while.
Right. And if you'd have done something after that, it would have been mediocre anyway, so you shouldn't push through it.
Totally. So do you find that, are you able to take some time off from like music, exercise, or any of those things?
For sure, especially in like the exercise world, right? That was a box that I needed to check every day and would beat myself up if I didn't. But it was even like I would never miss a day. And once I realized that like your body needs recovery and your muscles are building in that rest day, it was so much more helpful to like you're basically working out by not working out, and if you go do something that day, you're harming yourself more. So
and for any of you who are struggling with eating disorder behaviors, something that was really interesting for me to learn back in the day was that essentially what Allie's saying, like your body needs rest days, and that's important because if we don't, we actually start eating away at our muscle. And our heart's a muscle, and that's why, you know, heart attacks are so frequent in the eating disorder community and so dangerous, is because we're like weakening our system. And it's important, like we all need rest. Like taking mental health care days is important.
Yeah, that's when your muscles grow, when you're resting.
Exactly.
Taking a day off.
I always like to end my videos by offering up tips and tricks that they can use today. So are there like 2 things maybe that you've done to help yourself feel better and keep a better balance in life?
Yeah, sure. So I'd say my first tip is have fun. And if you're working, it still should be enjoyable, and you should also allow yourself that playtime. And
Totally.
I guess I'd say the other one is that do appreciate the time off and look at it as also taking you towards your goals. You shouldn't beat yourself up if you're taking time off. It's actually still heading you on the same positive trajectory.
Yeah, I think we could even like tie that into like your body needs rest. Like
Right.
you're
Yeah.
still growing and changing and working towards goals on your rest days.
Yeah.
And for me, something I've been trying to do, like 2 things I've done is I've noticed my self-talk. So if I'm like beating myself up, that's not helpful or constructive. It only makes me feel like shit. So I've been noticing and trying to turn that around to more positive. And then the second is taking time, taking breaks, having fun, being not responsible. I know that sounds crazy, but as like a type A person, I can definitely be like, I have to do the right thing all the time. And that can be really exhausting. Like it's fine to be like irresponsible sometimes. Like let loose, have a good time. So those are, I'm practicing. They're works in progress, but
Yeah, same
it's
here.
been really helpful. But thank you, Allie, for sharing your tips and tricks.
Of
And
course.
I know that people feel off balance from time to time, but there are ways that we can get ourselves back in balance, and we're all and we're all working, you know, day in, day out, trying to get better, and that's all that really matters. And like I said, we did a video on Allie's channel, so click over here and check it out, and like all of her links will be in the description, so make sure you check those out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.